Hi, I'm Dobby, but you can call me Dabz. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. So today I'm reviewing Why Fish Don't Exist by Lulu Miller. So this book is a biography and a memoir, and it's about taxonomist David Starr Jordan. So basically, taxonomy taxonomy is the field of science that is focused on classifying and sorting information based on similar characteristics. So for example, naming species of fish, or like naming species of animals and like classifying them into different categories, etc. So the interesting thing about David Starr Jordan, he's a taxonomist, but the more interesting thing about him is that no matter what life threw at him, he kept going, he kept persevering. For example, the author says this at the beginning of the book, so it's not a spoiler. But basically, what happened was David Starr Jordan had all of his fish species that he had discovered in jars with their names, like on labels, paper labels on the jars. When an earthquake comes and shatters all of his life's work, he doesn't give up. He keeps going. Instead, he finds a new solution. He sews, like he takes a needle, attaches a string to it, and sews the label like directly onto the fish. So next time, it can't be destroyed. And there are other examples. This is the most drastic example, I think, of David Starr Jordan's persistence and determination. But there are, along his life, other examples of this too. The author, Lulu Miller, is captivated by David's persistence and passion towards his subject. And this book kind of follows Miller's journey through learning about David Starr Jordan's life and how she connects lessons that she learns from his life to her own life. So there is a lot about like the author's own life, which makes it a memoir. So I don't want to say too much about this book during this book review because when I read it, I heard that it's a more enjoyable experience if you don't know like anything about what it's about. And I definitely agree. I think that it was really enjoyable because I didn't know what was coming next. So because of that, I don't know how much I can reveal throughout this book review. So keep that in mind watching it. So the beginning of this book, it basically just throws you into David Starr Jordan's life. And that beginning was a little bit slow for me, or maybe it just felt that way because it was a lot of information dumping. It was basically just a biography of his life. And it can be a little bit tough to get through, especially if you aren't interested in nonfiction or you aren't interested in like the scientific topic of taxonomy or you aren't interested in biographies. Like all of these things combined can make it really tough to get through. But as you get farther along into the book, pieces of the story start being revealed, both in David Starr Jordan's biography and in Lulu Miller's memoir. And I think that's around when the pace of the book also speeds up and it becomes more interesting. I think that this book touches on a lot of different topics from an interesting point of view. One of these topics being especially David Starr Jordan's life. Again, I don't want to say much because this book is more interesting with like less prior knowledge, but the point of view from which Lulu Miller is looking at David Starr Jordan's life is a very interesting one due to the events that occur later in the book. One thing that I especially enjoyed about this book was kind of the language and the wording that Lulu Miller used. I thought that it was really interesting to read. It kept me kind of motivated to read the book a lot, even when it got a little bit boring in the beginning. The way that she wrote, I think to me was interesting. One of my favorite parts of this book was definitely the ending of the book. I think that it wrapped up everything very nicely, both the biography part and the memoir part of the book. And I will say that I think the lesson and the moral of the story was a really good one. But along with that, the way that it was attached with all of this science information, like um, e- information about taxonomy, and also the psychology part of it. I think the fact that there was a lesson plus all of that nonfiction like aspect of it together was what made it a really good book. And especially the psychology of it was really interesting because there was not a lot of talk about psychology in the book, yet that is one of the like aspects of the book that I like the most. Maybe just because I personally am interested in psychology. Overall, I think I enjoyed this book pretty thoroughly. I would rate it maybe a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And I think I would recommend it to honestly anyone, but mostly people around my age, like high school, I think, and older. But generally, anyone. I think this is a good book, and I think that it's a good experience for anyone to read it. So that would be the end of my book review. If you like this video, then like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and happy reading!